Hello.
Hi.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Ash Wednesday, specifically. David and I are starting a new Lent devotional series, and we wanted to make you a part of it. So David is going to tell you what book we're going to be using for our devotionals, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what it's about.
Yeah. The book we're using is called Celtic Lent, 40 Days of Devotions to Easter by David Cole, and it kind of focuses on the Celtic traditions associated with Lent in Christianity. Celtic Christianity, it's kind of hard to define, but one of the characteristics is that it focuses on not just the gospel, but on the natural world, the world around us.
Celtic Christianity gets its start right at the end of the Roman Empire, when the Irish are being converted to Christianity by, I'm going to say Roman Christian monks, specifically Patrick, but we don't have to get into that. But they bring their Christian message into a world that is full of beliefs that have to do with nature, that have to do with the turning of the year, that have to do with light and spirit and all of these things. And then the Celtic people turn around and make that a part of their Christianity.
Yeah, that was that was the main way that Patrick converted, according to legend. How Patrick converted Ireland was he didn't strictly adhere to the Roman Church doctrine. He allowed the Celts to make it a part of their own story.
And you might think that that's weird, but the truth is that if you belong to a Christian church in the Western world today, in America today, chances are a lot of your practices come from the Celtic Christian tradition. Things like singing hymns in services and opening your heart, and the way that people feel when they're praying, things like that are very much tied into the Celtic Christian tradition.
Yeah. Private confession instead of public declaration in front of the whole congregation.
Right.
So that kind of thing.
So as we move through the season of Lent together, we're going to be using this devotional that focuses on the Celtic idea. Now, today's devotion is specifically about the creation of Adam, and it makes a really great example for how Celtic Christianity works. Because according to the Irish tradition, Adam's creation is very much bound up in nature. God created Adam not just out of the dust, not just out of the earth of the ground, but out of all of the pieces of creation. And we're not going to get specific about it because that would be, it would take us too long, and also it would be sort of robbing the author of his fire. So,
if you have access to the book, it's $10 on Kindle.
But it does. The ocean and the air and the wind and the earth and the sky and the light and all of those are all bound up together in Adam's creation, that God used all of those things to create Adam. And that's why people are so complex.
Yes, not just in body, but also in personality, because according to this tradition, all those elements correspond to different aspects of personality. And if one or the other is dominant, you'll tend to be irascible or lazy. Or
if the stone in you is more dominant, then you're going to be more sedentary and lazy. And if the sea in you is more dominant, then you're going to be. But if the light in you, which is one of the elements that God used to create Adam, according to this tradition, if the light in you is most dominant, that means that you are, through the power of the Holy Spirit, a great vessel for God's grace.
Yeah, you are a prime reflection of the image of God.
And we are supposed to be remembering that, today we are supposed to be remembering that we were dust, and unto dust we shall return. I think it's important to remember what dust actually is. Yes, we were, but we were created by God out of the elements that God had created. Mm-hmm. And that makes us something so much more than just dust.
Yes. I remember I was always a big fan of Carl Sagan and Cosmos growing up. One of the things that he used to say is, we are made of star stuff.
Yeah, not a big fan of Carl Sagan myself. But he's not wrong. The same dust that the earth is made out of is also the same particulate matter that the universe is made out of.
Yeah, it's all hydrogen and the nitrogen and stuff you would find out in the universe, and we are a part of that.
So we hope that you'll join us as we study, during Lent, as we study the Celtic Christian tradition. A lot of it is going to be weird and about nature like this, but it is all very much scripturally based, and it is all very much about finding our way to God through the power of the Holy Spirit.
So just imagine Adam and imagine yourself being created out of all of these natural forces, knowing that we will return to all these natural forces when our time is over, but the essence of what we are, that remains.
That belongs to God. Yes. Okay, so hopefully we'll see you. We will do our very best to be here for devotional. We know we start devotionals and then the season gets away from us and then we sort of, fall away. We hope that we will actually be here throughout the season of Lent. God bless you.
Goodbye.